Good morning, YouTube. How's all the beautiful people? Well, look at here. We got an '08 TRX 400 EX. Let me show you what it's doing or not doing. Key is on. Yeah. I did previously inspect the valves. All of that stuff's working properly, but there is almost no compression. The guy said he was riding it and it just quit, and this is where we're at. I did stick a scope down the cylinder and it is heavily scored, so I anticipate finding some broken rings, stuck rings. The problem was when I got it, there was no oil on the dipstick, so he was riding it, it overheated, stuck the rings or something, but it's but what I have a new cylinder and piston kit. We are going to replace the jug and the piston and rings, and assuming everything else is, the bottom end sounds fine right now, so hoping that all of that's still good. A new jug and piston rings and all of that should fix it up. So let me get some layers peeled off of this here onion, and yeah, I'll bring you back when I get down there, get ready to pull the jug. Okie dokie. Well, I've got the valve, got the valve cover off. I've got the head off, and this is where I am. You can see all that. It looks to me like aluminum. Right in here, yeah, right in there. But I won't know for sure until I get it off. But all I have left are the 4 bolts remaining that hold the jug on. I've already pulled the 2 small 8mm bolts off of the side over there. Timing chain is secured with a zip tie, so I don't lose it in the bottom of the engine. The exhaust is a bit of a nightmare on these. I should have pulled that loose and moved it out of the way a bit, but I didn't. So next step, I'm going to remove those 4 bolts and pull the jug, and I will set you up and give you the best vantage point possible. It's not going to be great, I apologize for that, but once we get that out, we will set it all aside on the bench, and we will have a closer look at everything and see if we were correct in the stuck piston and everything being burnt up. So meet set up, I'll bring it back. Okay, like I said, I'm going to be in your way. I do apologize. Yes, this is a non-impact rated extension. And it appears having all these extensions has taken the power away from me. So let me get these broke with a ratchet. Maybe. Yep. Good night. That does not feel well. That doesn't feel good at all. Moves a little. What the hell? Whoa. Hold on. Yeah, that's aluminum. That ain't good. Okay. Let me attention. Hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. Let's see what happens here. I really don't want to get, oh golly, that's scary. Woo. I'm gonna say I really don't want to get a bigger ratchet. Oh. Woo. Dang it. And, I thought I was going to put it in here. I just don't want it to run away on me here. Tell you what, let me get a small chica. I say small. Please don't break. Woo! Good. I mean, I understand you want this stuff torqued, but goodness. Okay, back to the impact, the speeder rack. This used to be mine, and I had it for 2 or 3 years, and I just never rode it, so I sold it, and that kid rode the living shit out of it. He just failed to check the oil. Find it up. Well, it's cheap. Live and learn. Ooh. That means these other 2 holes have got washers in them. I need to get, there we go. And I know the smell that I am getting from this smells like burnt oil. So, and honestly, the right thing to do in a situation like this, where it was running low on oil, would be to go through and replace the main bearings and but that costs money, and if they're not willing to spend that kind of money, here we are. So, let me grab my pry bar and a mallet. See if we can get this thing headed upward. Bigger pry bar. Definitely hurt my heart a little bit whenever he called and said, "Hey, something's wrong, I got no compression." And then whenever they dropped it off, I checked and there wasn't any oil on the dipstick. There's that. I'll get my headband, my light bar. I don't know if any of you guys have ever used one of these. I use a headlamp quite a bit. This one here is by Light Bar. Love it. It's got an external battery pack on it. I don't know if you guys can see, but works wonderful. It's more of a floodlight, see, than it is a spotlight, so works wonderful. going to be replacing this, so it's not critical. There you go. Just be careful when you're breaking that loose, especially if you plan on trying to reuse it. Oh yeah, that piston hurt. Come on, watch your timing chain. Chances of it falling down in there are slim to none with that zip tie, but it's something to be mindful of. Oh boy. Ow. Oh my. I'll bet you this thing was making some serious racket prior to shit in bed. Alright, let me set this down and I'll get my hands wiped off here and I'll take you guys in for a close-up. Y'all could probably see a bit of the calamity from there. Oh man. This ain't good at all. Oh boy, sorry about that. I know every time I walk in front of it, she goes haywire. Let's have a gander. First off, look at that. Look at all that beauty. Sorry, I can't get the light right. Let me grab this flashlight, see if that helps y'all. Look at that. And that looks good compared to the piston. Huh? That makes me believe there's going to be a chunk of that piston down inside there. That's bad. Dang, that engine's full of aluminum bits. Gonna need a couple of flushes. Nice. Sorry about that. I know you guys can't see nothing. But, yeah. So, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and get that piston off there. I don't want to take a chance on losing any more of that debris down in there. And at this point, I'm fairly certain I'm going to have to flush that engine really good, which I think I've got some good used motor oil I'll stick in there and kind of, it sucks because I can't warm it up, but I can pull the drain plug and, you know, start with some good used motor oil, flush it. I don't know, best bet maybe dump a gallon of diesel in there and drain that out, and then some motor oil. I don't know. But anyway, look at that. So let's I'm gonna pause you guys here. I'm gonna get that piston off of there. When I get all these parts laid out together, we will convene. Alrighty, YouTube. How's all the beautiful people now? Well, I got the gasket surface cleaned up. It took some doing, but the busted piston couldn't get the wrist pin to move, so I had to use a bolt and sockets and such and press it out. Those of you that have ever tried to remove a wrist pin from a melted, semi-melted piston know exactly what I'm talking about. Nonetheless, I got it done. I got the gasket surface cleaned up good. I got the new piston, new wrist pin, new keepers, and the rings installed. Just stagger it. When you do that, make sure you have all the lettering on the rings facing the top of the piston, and that piston is marked in for intake, so make sure you get that oriented properly. Aside from that, it's really quite self-explanatory. There's tons of content out there about doing it. The only difference in doing it a piston and rings on something like this is the engine's not removed, you know. So I've got a video out of doing pistons and rings on lawnmower engines. Not a ton of difference. Just take it slow. If there's usually a kit, if there's some great differences in the rings, they'll come with instructions. Good ones do anyways. The kit that I'm using here is made by Niche. I've used a couple of their kits in the past and I've had great luck with it. So where I'm at now is I'm ready to slowly, I'm going to turn that light back on. I'm ready to slowly guide the new jug on. So we'll get this cylinder installed, get the bolts started in it. Not using any RTV on the base of this. As long as you got a good clean surface there, you're good. I'm going to attempt to do this from the other side so that you guys can see. I have assembly lube on the wrist pin, the piston, the rings. All of that is good. What's tricky about this part, come on man. What's tricky about this part is getting this down in place with where it's supposed to be with your cam chain tension, your guides. There is another guide that goes on this particular head, but it's stuck in the other head. I just haven't pulled it out yet. Pretty sure I'm going to install it once I get all of this in place, and then I'll work this guide down in there where I don't know, it's got a, yeah, that's not going to work right. Well, it's gonna have to. The time will do it. So, let's see what we can do. First thing is get this cam chain, and I've got a zip tie on mine. What I've found in the past that works pretty good for being able to keep track of it and not lose it. And this part can get somewhat exhausting because you've got all of this crap to line up and hold up while trying to get this stabbed. One thing that really does help is to have the weight of this cylinder sitting here. That way when you get the ring pushed in like it needs to be, main thing is just take your time, be patient. The only way this is going to go in your favor is to be patient with it. And try to keep it straight. That's another one. Last thing you want to do is get aggressive. Or too aggressive with it. And do damage. It helps if that engine quit trying to rotate. Well, I've got all three rings past the bottom of the cylinder, so it's not wanting to go. So rather than force it, I think I want to well, I didn't want to do that, but I did, didn't I? I'm going to check my ring groove real quick. Yeah, I'm still good. The one thing you can rest assured of, as long as you don't go kamikaze on it, these rings will find their home without damage. You just don't want to force them. got both the compression rings. Now I'm just down to the oil. Oh, just lost my damn zip tie. Come on, man. Do me like this. There it is. Oof. Alright, just make sure you make sure your gasket stays in place, your cam chain stays in place, you got your cam chain tensioner. And just be ever so gentle. Once you get down to your alignment dials, just like that. Boom. Touchdown. Woo. Well, that can damn sure be a pain in the ass. Oh my goodness. So what I'm going to do now, take a couple of these bolts, and they had Loctite on them, so I will be putting some back. But for the time being, I just want to make sure that my gasket's good. That one's going. That one's going. I don't want to Loctite these just yet. I want to make sure that I am able to. This one I left the washer off of. I just want to make sure that I'm able to get the rest of that cam chain guide installed. Okay, so the gasket appears to be in good shape. See where it needs to be. Over here I've got a couple of small, let's see what y'all are seeing. Over here I've got a couple of small bolts that I need to put in the side. And if all of this is lined up properly, I'm not entirely sure. Which two it was. I know it was 8 now. there's a difference. I don't think I'm about them over here. No. Or did I? Maybe I did. Huh. No, these come out of the intake. What the hell? Obviously, my system of keeping up with my bolts isn't satisfactory. Well, that one's the right one, but we're in the here. I wouldn't be surprised if it fell off somewhere while I was rat-a-tat-tatting with the air hammer. Please. Way too short. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. I'll find it. If not that one, I'll find another one to put in there. I just wanted to verify that the gasket was in place. Okay. So let me get this the other side of this cam chain tensioner installed. Oh boy. I like that. Okay. We're good there. Next, I can pull these 4 bolts out and put some Loctite on. And I'll also find that missing bolt. But I will bring you guys back. I'm going to get those bolts Loctited, get them torqued. I'll bring you back. We'll have a look at the head. I've also got to pull those studs out of the old cylinder and put them in the new cylinder with Loctite. So, but I'll bring you back. Good morning, you beautiful people. Well, it's all back together this far anyway. What I did was, of course, retimed it. You know, you got turn your crank right here. You got your timing marks on your little flywheel here, lined up to the T with your camshaft installed with all the lobes pointing down. You install your your sprocket onto the chain, and you run your camshaft in. Blah 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 blah. Anyways, there's 2 lines. You gotta match those lines up with the top of the head on that side, obviously. And I set my valve lash. Installed the exhaust, installed 2 quarts, not quite 2 quarts, almost 2 quarts of oil, and which is a lot considering I got out about 8 ounces. Well, you can see the pan. There's just not much there. Once I put oil in it, I did crank it over a bit, just like this. You can hear that air blowing out the old spark plug hole. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and take a compression reading, because previously when I did a compression reading on this thing we got 0. So we are going to take another one, and then I'll throw you in time lapse and I'll reassemble this thing just enough that we can fire it up. So let me get my tester set up and I'll bring you back. Okay, compression tester is installed. I know the camera is going to go blurry when I first walk in front of it. I'll give it a second to go back. It just works better this way. That way I can hold wide open throttle. And here goes nothing. Hopefully the camera's made it back to normal. Okay, WMT. Hang on, I got visitors. The guy's picking up his chainsaw. Okay, so I wasn't even thinking about it before, but this bike has a compression release. So I got 60 pounds. So this test really doesn't tell us anything other than the fact that we are building compression. Actually 75. So I say at this point, what I want to do, I don't want to put all this crap back on here just so I can find out that there's something wrong. So I say, let me throw you in time lapse. I'll install the heat shield for the fuel tank and the fuel tank, get all that hooked up, and we'll fire this thing up for the first time and go from there. So I'll bring you back. Okay, where we're at, heat shield installed, fuel tank installed, fuel line installed, fuel line valve, fuel line is on, hose clamp installed. I'm not smelling fuel, so I don't believe it's flooding. It was running great prior to him burning it up, so there's nothing, there shouldn't be anything wrong with the carburetor. Spark plug wire. We are full of oil. I think we're ready. So, without further ado, let me start it up and see what happens. Touch finger. At this point, we still don't know if there's going to be any bottom end damage. They chose the option of rebuild the top end, get it going, and hopefully everything's going to be okay. If not, you know, we may have to dig deeper. But anyways, here we go. We choke it. Choke off. We should have already started. What's going on? Uh-oh. Oh yeah, the exhaust ain't all the way on yet. The header pipe is, but the tailpipe is not. So it's going to be loud. Choke. Half choke. choke off. A little bit slow. Alright. Stay tuned, jump pack. Man, I smell some activity. A little bit of exhaust. Come on. Man, they sure give you a lot of room to play back here. Good gosh. Ridiculous. Oh my gosh. This is stupid. Can't even get the damn clamps on here, man. What was I thinking? Shit. Alright, here we go. Please start. Give her a little choke. Really hadn't been that long since it rained. Doesn't act very happy, does it? Pretty sure it had plenty of fuel in there, but let me run that over to reserve and let her fill up. Alright, here we go. Picky, huh? Let me turn that choke on halfway. Sounds good though. There's no engine noise really. Can't really hear anything though over that exhaust. So. But only time will tell on that bottom end. I think if that bottom end was too bad though, it would. I would have heard some racket. So let me fire it up one more time while we're over here by the exhaust. Gas is off, so she was fitting to die. But there you go. Burn up, run low on oil, and burn all the shit. You think maybe he'll like that for a trophy? Anyways, I'm glad to see it's back and running. Like I said, it kind of hurt my heart a little bit when this thing showed up in terrible shape like it did, but nevertheless, she's back up and running. So all that's left for me to do is put this thing back together. I'm gonna have to get it outside. I'm gonna run it a little bit, get it warmed up, and then I'm gonna change that oil again, try to get rid of any remaining chunks of aluminum, and give it the best chance of survival, and obviously put the tailpipe back on. Right. So, all right, please like and sub, help the channel grow, and we will catch you beautiful people on the next one. Later.